I'm Allison McCann. I'm a visual journalist at 538, and I'm here today with Kelley O'Hara and Christen Press, two members of the U.S. women's national team who are taking time out of their very busy day here in New York to hang out with me. Thanks, guys, for coming.
No problem.
We're 3 days away from your last game before you head to the World Cup next week, which is so exciting. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm so excited. I feel like I've been preparing my whole life to get to this moment, and now it's finally here, playing in my first World Cup. And I mean, we're excited. We have so much energy. We just got together as a team, and we're ready to go.
So it's your first World Cup, Christen, but Kelley, this is your second. So if you had to give Christen one piece of World Cup advice as a veteran, doesn't even have to be related to soccer. It can just be like, don't eat the free dumplings or something.
Well, I can't guarantee that there's good dumplings in Canada, so that would be one piece of advice.
What's Canadian? Like poutine?
They have like those chips that are like ketchup chips or something. I don't know.
Don't eat those either.
My one piece of advice would be that you have all the tools that you need to, succeed at that level. You've been there. It's the same game as soccer, and you're ready for that. So, and I think as is anyone on the team, whether it's their first World Cup or, their fourth, but I think it's important to know that like in your first one, and I wish someone would have told me this my first time around, that it is, as soon as you step on the field, it's the same game of soccer that you played your whole life. So
thanks. I'm really excited.
It's better than dumplings and chips, but I feel like that is also good advice.
Yeah.
I realized I should briefly say that we are all friends and former teammates
and roommates
and former roommates.
Not friends, not my friend.
Christen used to be our friend, but no. And I guess I should do intros for you guys because you need intros. Kelley plays for Sky Blue of New Jersey. Christen plays for Chicago Red Stars, back from a few seasons in Sweden in the, I always say this wrong, Damallsvenskan, which is the top league in Sweden, where you kicked ass. I don't know if I can even say that. Beauty. But now you're both playing in the U.S. and doing super well. How has it been in the league this season, kind of like jumping in and out of camp and World Cup and go to a game for a week? So it's been a little weird.
Yeah, the coaches had us go for 3 weeks in April, and we all got to play our first 3 games with our team. And I think it was good for us. We'd been with the national team for a good amount of time leading up to that, and for me it was nice to just get back with the team that I've been with for the past 2 seasons. This is my 3rd season, and play some games and just kind of chill out on the stress situation, because it can get stressful in camp, but it was nice to just be with the team and play a couple of games. But yeah, it was quick though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really tough what we do. We're all over the country. We're always living out of a suitcase and in a hotel, so sometimes it's nice to just, go back to a place that with some familiar faces and get to play the game, but at a different intensity where you can sort of try new things and breathe a little bit. But it is hard. It's hard missing games now and knowing that your team's playing and not being there, and kind of just always being in 2 places at the same time, but it comes with the job.
Yeah. You guys are doing it well. Okay, I feel like a lot of people might be watching women's soccer for the first time this summer. Maybe had no idea that there was even a Women's World Cup. I get that question 3 times a day. This is so exciting. I didn't even know this existed. So what would you say to someone that maybe has never seen you guys play and is gonna what would you be why you should watch the Women's World Cup?
Well, I think for Americans that are just coming into the whole world of soccer, the World Cup is awesome, and it's super well suited for America. It's like a shooting star, 1 month, so many games, you get attached, it's like a story, and then it's just gone. So it's this amazing once in every 4-year experience, and it's a really, really exciting game.
Yeah, and I would say if they have watched the men's game and are new to the women's game, it is just as beautiful, if not, in its own way. Sometimes the men's game can be overly physical and maybe not as
finessed.
Yeah, and it's a different good. Obviously, you can all those words. But I think that I've heard people say, I love watching men's soccer, but then women's, it's just different, and it's exciting to watch, and it's a beautiful game as well. So.
And I'll say that you should watch the Women's World Cup because this is going to be a super exciting tournament. As you guys know, a lot of what we do at 538 is forecasting and doing predictions for elections, but also sports. We did the Men's World Cup last summer. We did both the Men's and Women's March Madness this year. And the Women's World Cup is like in the last year been our closest prediction. We're giving you guys a 28% chance of winning the tournament, which is the highest. But Germany's right behind you at 27%. Japan, France, and Canada are all up there too. And I was just curious if you guys felt like the competition really is this close. Like for Brazil last year, they had a 45% chance of winning. Like Kentucky men's basketball was 40%. Like UConn women's basketball 70%. So like there were these clear front runners, and now this tournament is starting to look like it's like a lot of very top heavy, a lot of good teams here at the top. Even though you guys are still at the very top, but do you feel like that is an accurate assessment of the game?
Yeah, I think from a general perspective, that speaks to how much the women's game has progressed, and we see that in leagues with top international players coming in and having played abroad. The game's growing globally, and that makes the World Cup so much more exciting. And also, I feel like in soccer, the predictions are really tough. So, like, I'm surprised to hear that Brazil had such a high prediction.
Yeah.
Because
last year.
Yeah, it's hard to.
So it's interesting because like Homefield Advantage,
yes, clearly
counts for a lot in the model. We use things like your friendlies versus your international games get weighted differently, like how big of a scoring margin, like all these things go into the model. And so Brazil obviously had a huge home field advantage. And this year we've been toying with giving you guys sort of home field advantage, even though it's in Canada, because some of the games have sold out to all US fans. So there's been some interesting quirks of the women's tournament.
We got a little bit of a home field
advantage, like a tiny, but yeah, and also we don't have the same like sort of club data that exists for the women's tournament, which I think is unfortunate because I think that would even give you guys more of a bump to have players like that played abroad and you guys that play here, and how well you do with your club team sort of doesn't go into this equation, which it does with the men's game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see the numbers that you sent in the email last night, that some teams were lower than I expected them to be. Obviously 20% doesn't seem like a lot, but I guess when you compare it to everyone else's percentage, it's the highest, which is interesting. But I do think that the line between
the
teams,
next tier,
exactly, is definitely closed over the years, and I think that makes it so much more exciting because we're gonna have so many good matchups at this World Cup, and it's gonna be really fun to watch.
Totally. Speaking of good matchups, the group match against Sweden is probably the biggest one that's like in the foreseeable future. Like everything else feels so like up in the air, like the World Cup finals, like whatever. I think we're giving you guys a 58% chance of winning that game. Sweden's only at about a 20% chance. I know you've played Sweden a few times since Pia has been their coach, but so what is this game going to be like? They beat you guys in the last, you weren't there, but you were there, group stage in 2011. Mm-hmm. This is your old coach. I don't know, is that game sort of on the mind more than others, or?
For me, no. The only game I really care about at this point is Australia, and just focusing on that. So, I mean, you have to play, we have Australia, Sweden, Nigeria, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the 90 minutes of Australia that we get to play. And then, once we get that result or whatever it may be, then we can move on and focus on Sweden. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Sweden has sort of a special place in my heart because I really did learn a lot about myself there, and I have a lot of good friends on the team, and our team has just so many ties to them, with Tony being here and Pia being there, and having 6 players on our current team that were in Sweden at one point. So we have a lot of respect.
So everyone's just going to be like hugging on the field and high-fiving?
Well, the thing about it is sort of when you get to this stage, it makes it that much more fierce, the competition.
Yeah.
It's born out of respect and like an admiration, and I love those girls, but it makes the game even more high stakes.
You were like, we have to stop texting, like, come May
48-hour rule.
48-hour rule.
See you in
no
Canada,
texting.
you're dead to me. Just kidding. So you guys were both true forwards in college, where I watched you be infinitely better than me, which is why you're in this matching black outfit, and I'm looking better than you right now. True. Just kidding. But you both have had to transition on the national team from in college, you actually are tied for the scoring record at Stanford, 26 goals in a season. Yeah. I think Christen beat you on career.
Hey!
But it's okay. You both scored a lot of goals. And now on the national team, Kelley, you've had to play in an outside back role. Christen, you've been dabbling in outside midfield, which I just think is crazy. It's like this was the position you played your whole life. You were clearly very good at it. So how's that been to just like get used to doing something that you were totally not used to until you got here?
I mean, obviously, outside back is much different than playing forward, and it was a challenge, but at the same time, I enjoyed doing it because for me, I obviously loved playing forward, but at the same time, enjoyed, trying to work towards being that complete player and being able to play anywhere. So, yeah, I think that, it's fun scoring goals, but I also like to stop them, and that's kind of my role now.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, I still consider myself a forward. I'm not letting go of that identity, but it's actually been great to play on the national team in a wide midfield role, completing myself sort of as a player. But every position and every role in teams are different, and I think that I'm much more comfortable playing wide with this team because that's where I've been practicing, and that's where I have my relationships on the field, and that's where I have been coached and been accepted, and so I think that makes all the difference.
I want to just do really briefly, the FIFA arrests came out this morning, 14 executives, corruption, money laundering, all these things that are terrible. And for me, it's a little bit frustrating because I feel like we're a week away from your tournament and it's sort of detracting from the Women's World Cup. Part of me was like, if you were going to do terrible things, FIFA, like, could you at least have done it to the Women's World Cup? I don't know, what is it like? That's terrible, but I didn't actually mean that, but I want it to be focused on you guys right now. And I don't know, what's it like going to this tournament where, like, I don't know, these people clearly aren't respecting you or having your best interests in mind?
I think exactly that. For us, it's like, that's not what this is about right now. And I woke up, didn't really even have time to read about it because we are off and we've got a full day schedule. And we're focused on us and our World Cup preparation, and that's the only thing that matters to us right now.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, people talking about FIFA, maybe even if it's not in a good light, it brings more attention to soccer. So, spin it whatever way you will. And, it's getting people excited, hopefully, for June 6th to come around. So we'll see.
All right, thank you guys so much for squeezing me in. I know it's been crazy, but good luck. I'm so excited to watch you guys play.
Thanks for having us.